Today's Toy Spot, we are continuing our looks at the Marvel Legends Marvel's Venom Build-A-Figure wave as we have a look at the web-slinging heroines, Silk. Silk comes with an interchangeable head, comes with her mask as a separate item, and also comes with the leg that we can use to put together Venom. Box-wise, on the side you've got Spider-Girl on the one side, on the flip end of it, Marvel's Silk. A very brief read-up on the back says these fierce females fight for justice for quick reflexes, super strength, and classic web-slinging action. The other figures down below, we've got Ultimate Spider-Man. Actually, two Ultimate Spider-Mans, but one is obviously the different color there. The evil, very evil adversaries, Electro. Then we've got Silk, Spider-Girl, and Hobgoblin. A pretty good wave, giving us two baddies. Two core baddies there, and some Spider-Man characters as well. Check out more. www.hasbro.com/Spider-Man Bingo Bango. Check that out. You can see some more Spider-Man action going on over there. Spot's going to take a break, get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the web-slinging heroines, Marvel's Silk. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Before we discuss more about the figure Silk, let's discuss first the Build-A-Figure component that comes included with the figure itself. Now, if you put it right against Silk, it stands around the areas of her elbow. So that seems promising for a fairly good-sized Venom. He's not going to be overly large, but he's still going to be an adequate size that's going to justify him being a Build-A-Figure and not the likes of a Rocket Raccoon or Hit Monkey or Jubilee, which I think was probably one of the more laughable Build-A-Figure that we've seen in recent memory. Let's go ahead and take the leg, and we're going to go ahead add it to the torso. You want to make sure, of course, the inner curve of the foot is actually facing inwards rather than outwards. Let's go ahead and just wiggle this on. And hopefully we fare better getting this on. Yes, we do. Yes, we did. Get it fairly more secure and stable than when we had Dormammu. Yeah, that leg's not going to go anywhere. So we still got to get the other leg on there. Two arms and a head, and then we've got ourselves Venom. Let's put that to the side. Alright, so let's have a look at Silk, or more importantly, Marvel's Silk, if we want to be accurate to the packaging. I quite like this figure, and I like it for the opposite reasons to why I liked Spider-Girl so much. Well, that's not 100% true. The body, for the most part, is similar, and this is also a good example of where you've taken just a primary body mold, and you've just added new paint to it. There's no new appliances, there's no new sculpts added to these figures, but while this one has a lot more color, being the reds, the blues, Silk, much more rooted in blacks. Now, she's not completely omitted of color, as you can see. The Silk figure also has all this nice, it's not quite straight gray, it's a slight purple-based gray, and you might think, purple-based gray, what's he talking about? But it is a slightly purple-based gray, more than just a standard primary gray. Spot used to work with paint. On the front there, you've got the webbing there in red, which gives a nice piercing tone of color to break up a little bit of the gray and the blacks. And then you've got the red that's been added to the fingers. Only two of them on the one hand. And then on the other hand, literally on the other hand, you've got that same carryover, but the hand is closed to a fist. Facially, face sculpt wise, you don't really see too much as she's wearing a mask. The eyes are sculpted very nice. She's very beautiful looking face sculpt. Normally, I got to admit, I'm not a big fan of adding blue to hair, because I think it gives it somewhat of a unnatural look to it, especially when it's done in excess. But surprisingly, it doesn't bother me all that much with Silk here, maybe because the rest of her body is so stark black that if her body was a color like a red or something like that, maybe that blue would bother me a little bit more. Fear not, collectors of Marvel Legends. If you don't like the fact that Silk does have the mask on, she does come also with an interchangeable face sculpt, which is very stunningly beautiful. Meow. Now, she does still come with the mask, and I'll show you that in a second, but the hair is also very similar. It doesn't look like they've changed it too much between one head sculpt to another. That's a beautiful looking head sculpt. Let's go ahead and you can pop the head off very easily. Just grab the torso, wiggle the head, and pop it right off the ball joint. Luckily, a nice big ball joint. I don't have to worry about that breaking or anything like that. She does come also with the same mask that's on this figure as a loose appliance. You just slide that onto the neck portion of the torso, and then you can pop the head on top of that, giving you a look that looks like this. And once again, revisiting the masked face, you can see how the two, for the most part, do share an exact face sculpt, eye-wise at least, and then the mouth area now is visible. I primarily think of Silk with the mask on, but I mean, that face sculpt, so beautiful, I might even consider having her displayed with the mask down. In fact, you know what? I might even just keep it on for the rest of this review. The figure is sized, again, once again bringing in Spider-Girl, sized exactly the same as the Spider-Girl. You might say that Spider-Girl's got a little bit of extra lift, primarily due to the fact that her hair sculpt, but other than that, same size figure. When it comes to her posability, Silk's head is on a ball joint. Not only is she on a ball joint, but there's also a secondary hinge, which allows the head to move a little further back, up and down. Not so much back as much forward, because the hair kind of limits a little bit of that motion back. Then when you get to her shoulders, shoulders hinge out on both. I do it on both. I know you guys, well, you do it on this side. What do you do it on it? Just to show you. You can do it on both. Rotate the arms all the way around. She has a bend at the elbow, a rotation on the forearm, a rotation on the wrists, a hinge also in the hand, upper torso ball joint legs, split cut swivel on the thigh, double hinge knee, and a hinge and pivot in the ankle. Another question Spot gets all the time is, Spot, if you're doing a series of figures, why do you show the articulation on every figure? If it's the exact same, well, I do it just so, let's say if you're looking up simply a review of Silk. You just want Silk, you're not interested in any other figure. I like to, for the most part, present these reviews as if this is the only figure that you're watching, and maybe you don't watch the other ones. So that's why I do articulation and stuff like that on all the figures, even though technically I know it's, after a while it gets a little monotonous if you're watching the entire wave, but it's just so that individual reviews can stand on their own. Speaking of standing on her own though, I think Silk very much can stand on her own as a fantastic looking figure. Now granted, a lot of the figures, if they translate well from the character designs, really at its core, it's the character design I really like. But it's not to say that there's hiccups along the way. Sometimes from the source material, it doesn't always translate well then to the figure. I think this figure translates very well from the source material, and it might be a #1 contender for me for my favorite figure from this wave. Now, take that with a grain of salt. We've only looked at 2 figures, but so far I'm really liking what I'm seeing here from this Venom, I was going to say Space Venom, but Venom wave that we're looking at right now. Today's Toy Spot, we were continuing our looks as we build Venom. We're not even close to finishing him, but we were having a look at the second figure from the wave as we were looking at Silk. More importantly, Marvel's Silk. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's got more videos heading your way as we complete Venom, and then the review of Venom will be around the corner as well. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.